Hello, third grade authors. Welcome back to Online with Miss Nazaripour. Third graders, I don't know about you, but over the last couple of weeks as we've been doing writing together and as we've been looking at the science lessons with Scientist Kate, I have just really fallen in love with orangutans. They are such a gentle, cute animal who really deserve to have a lot better deal than they've got right now. So that's why I think it's so important that we write a really strong opinion essay to the Wildlife Protection Organization, I said it right that time, about why they should have a new orangutan reserve on Blue Island. So today we're going to gather all the information that we've been taking, and we're going to really think about what information to include in our essays and what information that's really not as important. So the things that you're going to need today, and there are lists, so you're going to want to pause the video and grab them. Hopefully you've been working right in the same journal so everything's right there. I haven't, so I had things scattered and I had to go find them. So the first thing you're going to need is that graphic organizer that we made. Remember, with the claim, reason 1 and reason 2. It's okay if you don't have this. I'll help you make another one. But if you do, grab it. Two things that you are really going to need are the notes that we took on the 2 different articles that I wrote. Remember, the first one was orangutans need the trees and revealing the rainforest from yesterday. This was last week and this was yesterday, and we took notes on both. If you haven't taken notes on orangutans need the trees, that video was from 5/4/20, and then revealing the rainforest was yesterday. You're not going to be able to do this video if you haven't already gotten these notes. So go pause, stop this video if you haven't gotten these, go get the notes and come back. If you do have the notes, cool. The other thing you'll need, if you can find it, is this rubric that I brought over in your packets, or maybe your teacher had mailed to you. If you don't have it, that's okay. I'll tell you what, I'll put a picture on Schoology for you. The other tools you'll need is something to write with, something to write on paper, and something to write with a pencil. And in your packets, I gave you a highlighter. If you still have that, get it out. If you don't have a highlighter, pencil will do. If you have a crayon, that would be great, or a colored pencil. So, there's a whole list of supplies. Go pause the video and go grab everything you need. I'll put a list of supplies in Schoology as well. All right, third grade. Okay, third graders, let's talk about your graphic organizer. This is the graphic organizer that we created on 5/13/20. If you don't have this, that's cool. Pause the video after I go through it all and you can do it again. So you should have written Orangutan Reserve as your title, then a place for your claim. Remember, that's like your opinion. Reason 1, reason 2, and then today I want you to add a conclusion to that. Go ahead again if you don't have this and pause the video. If you do have this, that's great. But what I want us to work on now is thinking about and reminding ourselves about the evidence that we've collected. So go ahead and turn that over, and on the back, write evidence. Because there's some evidence that you want to put in your notes that you may not remember from the science videos you did with Scientist Kate. I put them all in this PowerPoint, so we'll go through them. So remember, we were trying to decide which island would be the best for an orangutan reserve. Ark Island, Creek Island, or Blue Island. And we, with Scientist Kate, decided Blue Island was the ticket. We're going with Blue Island. Let's talk about why. So we also talked about Borneo and Sumatra and how they were super great places for orangutans. In fact, they're the only places that have orangutans anymore. Okay, and in Borneo, on an average day, the temperature is 80 degrees. The rainfall, or the precipitation, is really high at 35 millimeters. Now, we got some information about all of the islands from the Wildlife Protection Organization. We took a look at Ark Island. The evidence we got was that the temperature was really nice, 96 degrees, but we didn't get any precipitation information that was strong. Remember, I think they just said that like it could fill a bowl. Well, that wasn't very scientific. So we had to rule Ark Island out. So then we saw for Blue Island that it was 95 degrees and that there was 38 millimeters rainfall in a day. That's very close to the Borneo rainfall, which was 35 millimeters a day. And then for Creek Island, it's a strong contender at 86 degrees Fahrenheit, very similar to Borneo, but only 20 millimeters of rainfall in a day, so we have to rule out Creek Island. Our claim is going to be that Blue Island is the best island. And you can see with scientist Kate, you guys decided on Blue Island. So in your claim, you should already have written it, something that stated that Blue Island was the best island. So I will say in my own words, the best place, actually I'm not gonna say it. I want you to say it in your own words. I'm just gonna write the word Blue Island. And in your own words, you're going to write an introduction for why Blue Island is the best, a claim and an introduction. Now, there's a couple pieces of information that you're going to need to want, that you're going to want to have. You're going to want to know that the evidence on Blue Island is that the temperature is 95 degrees. So go ahead and write Blue Island temperature equals 95 degrees Fahrenheit. So on the place where you're writing your evidence, go ahead and write that. Blue Island temperature equals 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Then right underneath that, write Blue Island precipitation. You know what, third graders, I'm going to change my mind right here. I want you to write Blue Island rainfall. That's really what we're trying to measure. The Blue Island rainfall is 38 millimeters in a day. So go ahead and pause the video until you've got both of those pieces of evidence written out, because they're going to be really important. Now you're going to write Creek Island, and I want you guys to remind yourself why we're not doing Creek Island. So we're going to write Creek Island rainfall is only 20 millimeters. So that's going to be important. That's why we ruled out Creek Island, because the rainfall was only 20 millimeters. The temperature was 86 degrees Fahrenheit. So remember, even though the temperature on Creek Island was good, there just wasn't enough rainfall. I want you to think back. Remember when we were talking about Borneo yesterday? Borneo has, what did they say, like over 500 different kinds of fruit, which is ideal for an orangutan. That is because the climate is good, lots of rainfall, and the closest rainfall was Blue Island. That was the closest rainfall. So that makes me think, that gives me evidence to believe that the best place for fruit trees is going to be Blue Island. And then the last thing you're going to write is, all you have to write is Ark Island week rainfall data. That's why we ruled out Creek Island and Blue Island. And I'm gonna go ahead and draw a big asterisk by Blue Island because that's the one we're going for. So this is evidence you probably don't have anywhere in your notes that you're gonna need when you write. So go ahead and pause the video until you get this written down. Okay, third graders, what I'm looking at now is our opinion writing checklist or rubric. Remember when we did our opinion writing the first time, we decided to leave this section out because I hadn't really taught that to you very well, but now we have all of this evidence. I think that we can go ahead and use some of it in our opinion writing. So what this says is that evidence from sources, and sources are the articles that we read together, and the sources are all of that investigating you did with Scientist Kate. So evidence from sources in each paragraph with citation. So what you're going to do, you should already have written your claim. I've just written the word Blue Island. I'm not going to share my claim with you. I want you to go ahead and write a claim of your own, but I will share with you what I've got for my reasons. And these are not elaborated on yet. I'm going to have to add all of that evidence to each of these. So reason one is that Blue Island's climate is ideal for large trees that protect orangutans. And reason two is that Blue Island's rainfall and temperature is similar to Borneo, therefore fruit trees can grow in abundance. I haven't written my conclusion yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over our notes. So if you haven't gone back to the videos and you don't have these notes, that's okay. But what you're going to want to do is get a pencil and paper, because you're going to have to write out the evidence that you want to use in your text that you're writing to the wildlife protection organization. Okay, so what I want you to do right now is pause the video and with your highlighter, read again through these notes on how orangutans use the trees to travel. Will any of this evidence help convince the Wildlife Protection Agency or organization that they should start an orangutan reserve on Blue Island? If it is, highlight it. But guys, this is evidence that you're going to want to use in your writing. I only highlighted 2 things. Don't get carried away. 1 or 2 things, you have lots and lots of evidence to choose from, not to mention the evidence that you took with Scientist Kate. Go ahead and pause the video and let's see what you think is important to add to your writing. All right, now I'm going to do the same thing with protection. I'm going to read through it and I'm going to think about my 2 reasons. The big trees are important to them and they need lots of rain for fruit. Those are my 2 reasons. Climate equals big trees. Climate and temperature and rainfall equals yummy fruit. Those are the reasons that I'm looking to find evidence to support why Blue Island is our pick. Orangutans spend 90% of their time in trees. Well, I already know I'm going to use that. That's super important. Trees are a big thing in my essay and a big reason why I think we should go with Blue Island. So I'm going to use that one for sure. Females spend more time than males in trees. They avoid predators in trees. Predators equal tigers, clouded leopards, and wild dogs. No tigers in Borneo. Orangutans on forest floor in Borneo. So this is all about protection and why they need big trees. They're going to avoid their predators, and I'm going to say what their predators are. So those are the evidence, the pieces of evidence that I'm going to put in reason 1. Now remember, what you don't want to do is write exactly what I wrote in my article. When I wrote this article, you want to put it in your own words. But these are the pieces of evidence that I'm going to use in reason 1. Okay? Now, I need some evidence to support reason 2, and I bet I'm going to find that in these notes on revealing the rainforest, because the article we read yesterday was all about fruit trees, right? Okay, 3rd graders, so get those highlighters back out. I'm going to read through these notes, and you're going to highlight, I'm going to highlight too, the evidence that we're going to use in our opinion essay. So, revealing the rainforest. The first part of my notes are on the tropical rainforest itself. So 80% of species call the rainforest home. Tropical rainforests are on the equator. They're very warm and wet. The temperature is always between 70 and 85 degrees, even in winter and nights. No dry season, 2,000 millimeters of rain in a year. Climate causes plant growth and 500 kinds of fruit on Borneo. So I need some evidence that's going to back up my reason, my second reason, that we should choose Blue Island because the rainfall and temperature is going to mean there's lots of fruit. So I know from our investigations with scientist Kate that Borneo is one of the places where orangutans live, and from this article I know that there are 500 kinds of fruit on Borneo. The temperature and the rainfall between Borneo and Blue Island are very similar, so I'm going to use that piece of information because I need to show that the orangutans are going to have lots to eat. I liked this one. Temperature is always between 70 and 85 degrees in winter and nights. So I'm going to use those two pieces of evidence to support my second reason. Let's see if there's anything over here that's going to support that second reason. So 60% of their diet is fruit. They eat bark, leaves, insects, and over 300 kinds of fruit. Mothers teach babies what to eat and where it is, and they travel to find fruit. Drop seeds equal new trees. So there's lots of good information here. For instance, 60% of their diet is fruit. That really goes to support my idea that we should have this reserve in Blue Island because there's lots of fruit. Now it's interesting that they eat insects and bark, but that's not really necessary. That's not really going to help me. But this part, that they eat over 300 kinds of fruit, that's important. And then I also really want to use this one, that dropped seeds equal new trees. So I've got lots of evidence now. And now all I have to do is find a way to include that evidence in my essay. So that's your job for the next however long it takes you, hopefully done by Friday, because we'll be moving on to something new on Monday. Write a letter, or not a letter, I'm sorry, write an essay. Elliot's writing it as a letter, and I think that's a really interesting idea. And if you wanted to write it as a letter, that would be fine. Here's the deal. You need to have a claim. You need to have 2 reasons and a conclusion. Okay? Write an essay to the Wildlife Protection Organization that supports our claim that the right place for the orangutan reserve is Blue Island. Use lots of evidence from the texts we've read. Go back to the videos, rewatch them if you need to. Rewatch this video, grab that evidence, okay? The Wildlife Protection Organization is a scientific organization. They're not going to listen to us if we don't use evidence. Okay, third graders, that's your task. Write an essay that supports the claim that Blue Island is the best island for the orangutan reserve. Use all of the evidence that you think is going to be helpful and useful to you. You have read 2 articles. You did all kinds of investigations with scientist Kate. All of these data points are on the video. I'll link that video to Schoology as well in case you want to go back and look at your scientist's data. Your choice. You have until Friday, hopefully, to get it into me. I really hope to see them on Friday. And by Friday, you'll get your last opinion essays back from me with my comments. You guys did a great job, those of you who turned it in. All right, third graders, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and we will talk soon. Good work today.